Alright, so let's talk about it. What you're looking at right here is the Blackhawk Special Forces aid bag. This is my review after having it for almost 2 years. It's been in the field quite a bit. It's been a bunch of places. It's more of a sick call bag, I would say. Now, let me give you some background about what I'm using this for. So, I am a medic, combat medic, and I actually use this in the Army. Now, what we're looking at is something that you're not going to pack in an infantry unit. This thing is way too thick, it's scratchy, that's going to get caught on crap. The philosophy of use for this is certainly a medic who has access to tracks, vehicles, whether it's mechanized infantry or an artillery unit or a cav unit. And I'm a artillery medic, which is why I have such a big bag. Something that has access to significant vehicles and space to let you use such a thick bag. Now, I think I paid $150, maybe $180 for this, perhaps $200, not sure. For the price, I would say it's worth it for the price. Would I buy it again? No. I'm going to go over the advantages and the disadvantages of such a pack for a medic to be carrying. Now, as we mentioned, philosophy of use for a infantry medic, that you're footing this shit, no way in hell you should pack such a heavy bag. There's no way on God's green earth this is going to comfortably sit on top of your ruck or on the back side of it. For something like that, you need to refer to training. I mean, just pack light, pack for the mission, and especially disperse your gear with your guys. Make sure each one of them gets a pack of supplies, and that you know who has what, as they tell you in training. Now for artillery and cav, this is a perfect pack because you don't have to worry about it. You see, I've had a few modifications to it. I got some clips at the top, long tabs for the zippers. The zippers aren't too bad. They're this plasticky shit. I'm amazed it hasn't broke yet. They don't feel the toughest. It's not quite like the M9 aid bag where the thing feels fucking bulletproof. This is not confidence-inspiring material. For the most part, the fabric has held up. Except for around the seams. Most of the seams are single stitch, and I've had some tearing issues up here on the straps. They're starting to pull. They're fine for now. I've also had some issues where it falls apart. I had to duct tape the stitching here because there's a tear and it was starting to come down the fabric. Now those are disadvantages. The stitching is single for most of it. I'm sure there are parts like right here where it's double stitched. That's about it. All the strapping is single stitched. This seam here is, as far as I can tell, single stitch. Perhaps on the inside it's double stitched, but that doesn't matter regardless because it is tearing up right around there where the straps attach. Straps are not too bad. They're comfy. Most of the time I'm just moving this with the flick on, not even body armor. It's pretty comfortable because of that padding. If I had body armor on, this wouldn't make a difference because I wouldn't really feel it. Whether it was the 1-inch straps on the M9 or these, doesn't matter. I do like the gap there. I know a lot of packs have some stupid system of neck relief. If you want to hike this up and get it close to your shoulders and right on your neck, that's comfortable for me. I'm average build, I'm about 5'9", about $170, and this fits me just fine. Now advantages is the molly webbing. For the longest time, I took advantage of it until I realized the closest to functionality you can get out of a pack like this is trying to make it mimic as closely, as high fidelity as possible, the M9. And what I mean by that is trying to not have shit on the side. For a couple of weeks, maybe months, I had trauma packs on the side, easy access, but they just got in the way. This thing is supposed to sit in the silhouette behind your back, and it can't do that if you have bulky fucking packs on the side. It doesn't fit right. And same thing with back here. If you put something on it, when you open it up, it won't clamshell like the M9 can. If you have something on the back that's more bulky than these tourniquets, anything that'll stick out significantly, like a saw pack or a trauma pack, unless it's like a rip-off kind, I've seen those. If it's anything that's going to stay attached, when you flip this open, it's not going to be comfortable to work with. Now, speaking about getting this thing open, you can see I got some high-speed tape there. Highly recommend it, as they tell you in training. You need to label all this shit just in case one day you're incapacitated and it's up to someone else to dig through your bag. You have a couple main pockets. You have this one, which is not all the way down. I do think that's a disadvantage. This zipper only comes halfway, and it does not work on the bottom. As you can see here, I just have a Marine Corps plate carrier. I just store some miscellaneous stuff, you know, saline heater, or MRE heater if you call it that, and some rubber bands, just random shit. Mostly that is there to keep the bottom protected when I sit this on bullshit like gravel, in the forest, twigs and shit. I don't want it popping the bottom, because the bottom is not of great quality. Single stitch. It's not even double ply. It's pretty weak. So I put this there, because to be quite honest, you're not opening this every fucking day. You're sitting it down and fucking sitting it down and sitting it down. So that's where all the wear is going to really be. So back to the point. Half a zipper. And it has these little loops here. I don't use them. I don't want bulky shit hanging off the side. The pocket is pretty nice though. You can open it pretty well and you get good access. I have this sit up mostly as a sick call and field bag. I have the fortune of being in an artillery unit, so I can pack all this extra shit. Most people won't need splint kit, twisted ankle kit. Most people won't need, I have a lot of accessories in here. I have a map of our base for medevac reasons, planning reasons, AXPs and whatnot. I also have drip drop just for the guys, heat cats. You won't need this many, but I have the fortune of having the space for it. I also have a quick litter from NAR. I recommend it. I have this configured easily to be pulled open if I need to use a quick litter. I recommend this. Pretty light, easy to fold up. They say it's single use, but unless the guy's bleeding with AIDS, you can reuse it. Save you some money, although these are pretty cheap. They're like $10. I got some other things in here too. Med kit and a splint kit. Heating blanket buried in there, and still in its wrapping, because the second you take this fucker out of its packaging, it decides it wants to explore the universe, and you'll never get it this tidy again. I also have a pelvic splint. Now those pack pretty far down, and there's still plenty of room if you want to bow the fabric out. But if you want to keep it tight, you only want to pack it out about a hand width. Although it could probably stand 5 inches of packing, I don't prefer to put it to its limit. Now here is the wall to the inside, and it's a thicker material. I would say it's certainly padded. It's got a pretty good thickness to it. Hopefully you can see it there, but that's it's about 1/2 centimeter. And that, like I said, is the back side of the interior compartment where you can store things in a netting pattern. You'll see on the website, whether you go Amazon, whether you go perhaps the actual website, if you feel like paying more, you can see their pictures where they show you on the inside the compartmentalization. And that's a good thing to have, really. I'll show you how I have it organized. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get some comments saying I don't have any trauma supplies, and before I open this up, you need to know I do not have any trauma supplies in this. The philosophy of use, this would not be a trauma bag. I carry my trauma stuff on my flick or on my plate carrier. I don't carry it in this. Matter of fact, these are the only trauma supplies I have. I just don't need trauma supplies inside the pack. I have it on a flick, I have it on a belt, I have it on my person. My guys have IFAKs. I have plenty to take care of 2 or 3 patients if need be, but I don't need to carry it in this pack. Now, when you open it up, I do have mine with the ability to clamshell. You can see more heaters. These aren't necessarily just for saline heating. I'm kind of spoiled. I like warm food, so I collect these, and they just hang on the side. Now, as you see, this is the compartmentalization I was telling you about. 2 small pockets that could hold an assortment of things. This one I just have assorted needles and syringes for many reasons, whether starting an IV or administering meds, drawing and administering meds. Here I just have packed out with Kerlex. You can never have enough fucking Kerlex. I think you can solve world hunger if you have enough duct tape and Kerlex. Really, A-strap and Kerlex could just do. Now these are wide pockets. You have 2 of them. This one seems to be less packable. Sure, these are mostly of the same dimension and of same packability, but when I flip this open, you'll see that this one can only be packed so much reasonably before you interfere with what's underneath. Here I just have meds, eye and ear stuff. Here's where I have most of my sick call kit, band-aids, all that good stuff. If you're out there in the field for a while and someone has an infection, some bacitracin, Q-tips, cotton balls, sick call stuff, really. You don't need to worry about what's in my kit, but showing you what you can do with this bag. Especially when you're the sole provider for a whole battery, as often I find that I am. Unit is understaffed medic-wise. You might find use in such a pack, because there won't be a medic per platoon where you can draw down on your gear and lower your stockpile. You might have to utilize such a thick fucking pack as opposed to your M9. Now, it does have this layout ability, and here you can see it has some trauma things, OPAs, tape, needle decompression. These are handy little shits for finger splints. Actually doing clinical stuff if you're checking out their mouth. Now, this is an interesting pack for this reason. This doohickey right here, this compartmentalization. This can flip up, and if you do it right, you can hold it to your system here. You just tie it down and flip it over, and you can have things underneath. I have SAM splints riding in the back here in the hydration compartment. You're about fucking stupid if you're a medic that puts hydration shit there. That space is critical. If you fill a 3-liter bladder, sure, you might be hydrated, but now you don't have SAM splints. Now you don't have anything you could ever possibly dream of laying in the flat side here. So, yes, that space is there for hydration bladder. You shouldn't use it for hydration bladder. I use it for SAM splints. I have BBM, saline, back, more meds, more sick call stuff, really. Dudes get crotch rot, and that's a kit for it. Just in case, because these little fucking things like to blow up in your bag and leave goop everywhere. IO kit, fast one actually, next to my IVs. BDM, that's really all I need. And in these compartments, I have my airway kit. Now, we do have advanced airway stuff. Suction kit fits in here fine. This is a standard issue. I wouldn't say standard issue, but this was appropriated from a issued medical suction kit, and it fits just fine. Actually, for better scale, I have a number 5 eye gel, and the number 5 eye gel fits just fine in this pack. I have it in this appropriated. I have two crike kits. Not that I crike that often. Actually, fortunately, never had to. But actually, I take that as a number 4 eye gel because they're weight based. Doesn't really matter. You can use a 5 on someone who's 170 pounds. But yeah, this is a number 4 actually, and it fits just fine in that compartment. It also fits fine in this appropriated medical pouch. It came from an addition set to a trauma hanger. Can't think of the actual nomenclature for such equipment. But if you're a medic, you know what I'm talking about. So that all fits just fine and dandy in here, and that's probably what this was meant for. I couldn't tell you, I'm not a sales associate from Blackhawk, but that's probably meant to be airway. You do have some space on the sides to add other things. This flippable pouch doesn't particularly consume the entirety of the width of the pack. You can pack it narrow and have nothing on the side, or you can take advantage of that and store such things as heaters on the side, med kit. That's a good solid 1.5 inches, and it fits on the side there without pushing anything out of the way. This is of a solid material. It helps keep this side separated from this in case you do have such things like chapstick, baby powder, Neosporin, a vial of meds blow up inside the netting here. It might not penetrate this thick padded thing. And in my experience, this pack of mine has gotten soaked completely about twice. Whether I got caught in the rain or whether I was in a creek, it's been soaked completely. And that led me to waterproof a bunch of things, whether it's sticking it in Ziploc bags or this shit. But in my experience, this has never soaked up water like a sponge. It does feel squishy, but whatever it is, it must be kind of a non-absorbent foam or layered fabric, because it doesn't soak up water and stay mildewy. It's rather nice. The bag does have an illusion of being waterproof. You'll see the shiny shimmer, and you're assuming it's kind of the waterproofing that they put on packs like this, but you'd be wrong. It's rather ineffective at being waterproof. It's more of a water resistant. Sure, you can spill and splash water on it and see it beat up and roll away, but it won't stop water if you are caught in a rainstorm or anything in the field where you might happen to be soaked. Now, for an infantry medic, this would be a stupid pack to have. For civilian EMS, this would be a terrible first in bag. This would be a terrible ALS bag. I would argue mostly because of my experience with civilian EMS, we never used anything even similar to this. Sure, you can make the adjustments. You could store O2 tanks, not full size, but maybe miniature or custom sized ones on this outer pack. But the fact that you have to open it up so wide is, well, quite frankly, trash. Because in most homes that you enter, you don't necessarily own the place to be running around and opening up 5 foot of fucking bag on the floor. The good thing about civilian bags usually is they have some sort of self-opening, maybe 2 zippers where you just open it up and reach deep-wise in the middle, kind of like stat packs. This is not, in my opinion, great for that. If I had to draw up a first-in bag for an agency, I would use something with a little bit more access on the periphery. I think that's what the big downside is about this one. It's all internalized, which is what you need when you're a medic, because, quite frankly, you should never open your aid bag unless someone is dying. You should carry your sick call meds in your flick. I do. You should carry trauma kit on your flick. Many medics do. Remember that cool guy pouch? You should carry paperwork on your body. I do have some in here. I didn't get to the other pocket, but I had an admin section in there. Just mostly a book on medical supplies. It's easy to open, I'll give it that. This is the other section of that bag. This stores I think this is a Spectre bag. It used to be on the outside, but for the reasons aforementioned, I do not molly anything on the exterior because it makes it shitty to use. This fits a Right in the Rain notebook, which is nice. You can have reference waterproof thing here that can refer you to meds, procedures, any of the like that you might find yourself having to remember or do in the field in a waterproof manner. And this is mostly just to protect everything in there. I have some pins, Sharpies, quick notes for cardiac and whatnot. And also this stores just a molly pack of gloves. You should carry gloves in your kit, but in the event that you need to resupply your flick, this works just fine. And both of these can live comfortably side by side inside this pack. Advantages, lots of space, lots of adjustability. If I really cared, I would have items on the periphery, such as additional packs and whatnot. But due to slipping in and out of a track often, because I am an artillery medic, due to all of those occasions that shit hit the side, all of the occasions you need to fit this through a narrow turret, maybe to get in and out, to egress, ingress, whatever the case is, you don't want all that shit on the side blocking your way. For $200, it's worth it, but you might be able to find other things that suit your need better. If you're a infantry medic, you might allocate $200 to a smaller, more specialized in-bag. Special Operations Equipment makes one, NAR makes one, Tactical Tailor has a great M5 bag. It's rather small, but I've seen it. I've seen all of these. They're great for room clearing, actual infantry medic stuff, but they're gonna suck for you if you want to carry additional meds, sick call stuff, your own kit. Oh, and if you ask where my vital taking supplies are, I carry that on my kit too. You don't need that many. You need blood pressure, temperature, SpO2, Heart rate's all on that. Really, there's not much else you can use in combat medicine. You can't take a life pack out there or a Zol or anything. So I carry all that in one magazine pouch. It all fits. That's my review of this bag. Just to give you an inside look at it and its advantages and disadvantages, what it's good for, what it's bad for, what I use it for, what it is existing in this world being used for. So at least one artillery medic is admitting that he uses this. You'll be hard pressed to find an infantry medic that uses this. Just different strokes for different folks. Is it worth $200? It's up to you. You purchase it. But the reason I purchased it is for all the reasons I've listed. I have a use for this, and I can put it to that use. Is it made of good material? Mediocre. I don't have the stats. You can find the stats on the website. I'm sure the denier fabric is tough, but it obviously tears at the seams. So that's it for this review of the Blackhawk medical bag. Special Forces aid bag.